Hey folks, Dr. Dan here. Thanks for joining me today on DocTalk. We're having a great show. We're on location in Kearney, Nebraska at the PAC Summit. We're going to talk about things such as making changes on your farm. And then we're going to talk about some things as far as bruising, beef cattle production, and much more. It's going to be a great show. Dr. Wade, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Dan.
Folks, this is Dr. Wade Taylor. He's from Oakley, Kansas. He's a friend, he's a colleague, he's a fantastic feedlot veterinarian. And, you know, it doesn't seem possible. How many years ago was it we started meeting in the basement of the bank out in Oakley and putting the concept of PAC together?
Probably be close to 10, Dr. Dan.
It was a small group of people, small group of veterinarians that I was blessed to be a part of with you, that you had the vision of production animal consultation, and we were just trying to get together to make ourselves better, to push each other, talk about similarities, differences, and wow, here we are in Kearney, Nebraska today at the PAC Summit here out at the fairgrounds. You got 200 beef producers all the way from Texas to Canada, veterinarians here involved with PAC.
Yes, we've been very blessed. It's we've had a group of people that have a passion for their people, for their clients, and for the animals, and the direction came easy.
Well, talk to me a little bit about PAC. Just tell me, you know, when you look at the vision and what we do, you know, what are some of the things that when somebody says, hey, what do you know about PAC? What are some of the things that come to your mind?
You know, PAC's a group of like-minded veterinarians that all work to try to better their client, better the environment for the animal, make economic sustainability more possible for the clients. We all have a passion for that. Very diverse group, dairy practitioner, swine practitioner, one from Australia, a couple instructors.
Yep.
Yeah, it's but we all have the same endpoint in mind.
Absolutely. And you know, some of the things that you know, I understand that we're working with animals every day, but it's that relationship between the people, the relationship of the PAC veterinarians and the support staff. The way that they care about the people that they serve through the animals that they raise is amazing.
Yeah, I believe that's right. I mean, we all do this, or we all got into it because of the animal, but the greatest joy we get from the people, and seeing their success, seeing their involvement, their growth, and making them better so that their job's better and then the animals under their care are better.
So today, you know, we're talking about everything from some of the specific issues such as bruising when you're loading cattle and fatigue cattle syndrome to having stockmanship demonstrations. Having that hands-on, one-on-one type of learning is very important.
Yes, you know, we expect them to do to go out and be hands-on on a day-to-day basis. Many of these people are visual learners like I am, and so they need to see it, need to have the ability to be one-on-one with people, to interact and gain that. And we all learn every day if we try to, and it's just another attempt to try to make them better, make us better, make the industry better. We and you and Dr. Jim, Dr. Larry all help us learn to be better instructors, better listeners.
Wow. I just appreciate everything you do. I appreciate your vision for PAC. Folks, Dr. Wade Taylor, Production Animal Consultation, Oakley, Kansas.
This Meet the Future Veterinarian is brought to you by Zuprevo. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. As the son of a dairy veterinarian in Wisconsin, Adlai Schuler spent much of his teenage years in the milking parlor and calf shed. Time with his dad inspired him to become a veterinarian, and his later work on large and small dairy operations solidified his career path. With his veterinary degree and advanced training in dairy nutrition, Adlai brings added value to the farmers he works with.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. We're here in Kearney, Nebraska. I have Dr. Larry Firkins from the College of Veterinary Medicine at the University of Illinois, where he serves as the Associate Dean, and new title for you. But congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And today he just had a wonderful session with our producers about team building and change. Talk to me a little bit about some of the things that we went over this morning.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Thanks for allowing me to have this chance to visit with you. The interesting thing to me on the stuff that I talk about, it doesn't come natural to me, and I've learned that it doesn't come natural to a lot of people. We tend to feel comfortable when we're dealing with the cattle, or as you know, my background more is working with pork producers. We understand the importance of the husbandry, the nutrition, the environment. And what I get a lot is it's the people that are the challenging aspect. Nothing I talked about this morning comes natural to me. I don't like change. I don't like having to deal with change, but it's something that if we don't adapt, we're going to become irrelevant. And that's what I spent a fair amount of time this morning, was talking about changes that we can do, how they can be palatable, and so we can maintain our relevancy within the industry.
I thought some of the things that were interesting too is, we tend to grab a hold of our heritage or the things that grandpa did or dad did, and I think our core moral beliefs stay the same, but as you experienced in many different technologies, nothing stays the same.
Yeah, and if we don't adapt, and that's one of the takeaways, was the ability to adapt, to continue to be relevant in the industry. The examples that I gave are companies that at the time were focusing on trying to make a better widget or be better at what they were doing currently, but they weren't looking to the future, weren't looking at what are the demands going to be, what's the market going to tell us that is necessary for 3 years from now or 5 years from now. It's not a place that a lot of us like to visit, that we want to focus on strictly what's occurring today or how to get better today. My challenge was, how do we look at the future, roll it back to today, and then determine what steps can we take so that we are relevant in the future.
I thought one of the neatest exercises was when you said, hey, look 3-4 years down the road and tell me that if your company was going to make a headline in the newspaper, what would the headline for your company 3 or 4 years from now be?
Yeah, then the benefit of that is if you'll grab a hold of that headline and take a look at what you're making for progress next year at this time. What does it look like 2 years from now? And then make a new headline. So we're continuing looking at the 3 years so that we're not caught off guard. We can see how do we allocate resources. And resources are always limited. In resources, I usually look at financial ability and time. And if we can align the financial abilities and our time with what that headline is that we want to generate, that's celebrating what our firm has done, how we look within the industry, we can make that happen.
Well, it was a great message. You do a great job. I appreciate all that you do for our industry. Folks, if you get a chance, the University of Illinois has a lot of different programs. Dr. Firkins has been someone that's been a leader in the swine and beef industries and also the veterinary profession. Dr. Larry Firkins, a friend and colleague, University of Illinois College of Veterinary Medicine. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Dan.
Thanks for watching Doc Talk. Folks, we're going to take a break now, and we'll come back more after these messages.
The BQA Tip of the Day, sponsored by Beringer Engelheim Vetmedica, Inc.
Howdy, I'm Kurt Pate with your BQA Tip of the Day. A thing I think we need to remember when we're talking about beef quality assurance or any handling situation is we have a job to do, whether it be preg checking, branding, vaccinating, processing, whatever it is, we have that job to do. And we need to do it properly with good BQA. But the other thing I think that we need to keep in mind is doing that job, how does it affect the animal's performance and handling in the future? If we do things in a way that are positive and the animal learns from the experience to be better, every time we work with the animal, they'll get better. We'll get our job done, but it'll make the next job we do with the animal easier as time goes on.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. It's a pleasure for me to have Trent Luce on the show. I don't know how many hundreds of speeches we do around the country, Trent. And it's the first time we got to be on the same program, and it was...
I got a bit of trivia that I don't think you're resonating with yet, Doc.
What's that?
The look in your face like, oh no, where are we going with this? You tell me that the first time you heard me speak was here in Buffalo County, Kearney, Nebraska. First time I heard you speak was at Nebraska Cattlemen's in Kearney, Nebraska, Buffalo County. Probably 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So apparently we can only interact in Buffalo County, Nebraska.
Well, it's good for me. It's a good slice of the world. But thanks for all you do. And
yeah, my pleasure.
Really
you as well.
I really appreciate the passion, the knowledge, but most importantly, the truth and the integrity that you bring to the subject material, and the patriotism. It's awesome. And talk a little bit, just kind of summarize your focus, your passion, what your purpose is.
My purpose is the same as it was when I started 17 years ago, and it's to make sure that the United States consumer has access to the food that we produce and gets the right information to make the decision correctly. Particularly in today's world, we have so much jargon and market rhetoric taking place. Just make sure we should celebrate the choices that we have as American consumers. And we do have choices. But let's make sure that you're making those purchase decisions based upon the facts, rather than some non-governmental organization that's trying to feed you something.
Right.
And that something they're feeding you, by the way, has zero nutritional value. It's otherwise known as bovine fecal matter.
Yep.
And just make sure you make those purchase decisions based upon the facts. And again, at the end of the day, celebrate being an American citizen.
Yeah, it's not digestible, what they're feeding us.
The TDN on that is not real good.
No, and then, what does farming and ranching mean to you? I mean, you talked about it, how it's helped you raise your family. How it's it's pretty passionate.
You show me a kid, a young adult, anybody who grew up on a farm, and they understand life. We understand it. I think the biggest challenge that we have, Dan, is that we have too many people that don't understand everything lives, everything dies, and death with a purpose gives full meaning to life. We're in this era where nobody wants to die, or they don't want anything to die, but something is only going to live if something else died for it. And so connecting those dots and making sure that we're stewards of the land, that we leave the place better than we found it. And if you look at the numbers, it takes very few acres, a third of an acre, to produce enough food to feed a person for a year today, when 116 years ago it required 5 acres. That's the great untold story. If General Motors had a car that was half that efficient, CNN wouldn't stop talking about, RFD TV wouldn't stop talking about how green this car is. We have the greenest industry ever imaginable. It's called American agriculture, but it's the untold story.
Yep, and the balance and moving it forward is so important. Tune in and listen to Trent Luce. He is truly a patriot, and he's doing so much for American agriculture. Thanks for watching DocTalk. Get on his website, get on his radio show. Thanks so much for what you do.
My pleasure.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan here with Dr. Kip Lucasavage. He's with PAC, Production Animal Consultation.
Yeah.
We're here in Kearney, Nebraska. Having a great day, aren't we?
That's an awesome day, Dan. We had some of the best clinicians in the industry in Juan Reyes, Kurt Pate, Ted Howard, Dr. Knopfsinger. Just a phenomenal day of learning.
Yeah, and when you sit back and you look at bringing the people together, the fellowship, the constant strive to get better every day, it amazes me and thank you very much for what you did to put this together. But it amazes me when you get the people in the room, you know, how more people don't get to these.
Oh, I know. You know, we had a great turnout today. We had right at 200 people, and really all producers. There are different segments of the industry here. We had from pharmaceutical company, but mostly all either cow-calf, feedlot producers that were here to learn. And they gave up a very busy schedule to be here today. But what it tells me is that their openness to learning and wanting to, the people that attend these want to learn. They want to change. And the challenge I put out to the others in the industry is, and maybe my fault too, is how do we advertise better? How do we get more of this stuff out there to the general public so that they know and they can attend? And you know, but again, it's just about getting these guys here, and the guys here are committed to change.
And it winds up being money in their pocket. I mean, that's the thing, that whenever I'm around a PAC meeting,
yes,
it is when the producers leave here, it's something that they're going to go home, they're going to implement, and it's going to improve the lives of their cattle, improve their own lives and their employees' lives, and it improves their profitability.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have another one here in July, right?
In July, we're going to have one in Oberlin, Kansas.
What's the date on that?
That's going to be July 13th.
Okay.
It'll
July
start at registration will start at 7:30, but we have open registration online for that meeting. We're going to have a group of speakers there as well that are just going to be phenomenal people and experts in their industry. We'll have Dr. Jeff Dufresne that'll come in and talk about the normal mechanics of the bovine. You know, how does that animal move? What does that movement look like? We'll have Dr. Dorte talk about foot and health pathology and prevention and treatments. We'll have Dr. Mike Apley there talking about antibiotic issues that are in our industry and how to be better use of those antibiotics. We have Dr. Nels Lindbergh coming in and doing some leadership talks, and then we highlight with a keynote with Dr. Sam Behringer at that meeting, and he's going to give a great, phenomenal teamsmanship approach. Dr. Sam is with Merck Animal Health, but he's also one of our Armed Forces members, and he's going to bring that philosophy to our leaders in our industry, and I think it's going to be just an outstanding meeting. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Folks, come to Oberlin in July, meet us there at the PAC. Thanks for watching Doc Talk today. Remember, if you want to know more about what we do, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com, and always work with your local practitioner. Thanks for watching Doc Talk today. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, and I'll see you down the road. Hey folks, Dr. Dan from DocTalk here. Be sure to join me next week as we're going to discuss toxic plants in your pasture. Folks, Dr. Dan from DocTalk here. Be sure to join me next week as my guest is going to be Dr. Dion Funder-Merva, who is a toxicologist here at Kansas State University's Diagnostic Laboratory. And we're going to talk about ways to prevent your cows from running into those toxic plants, some of the things that you can avoid when you're putting up hay, and then we're going to talk about some things around the farmstead that you probably didn't know were toxic that are to your cattle.